Okay, let's dive right in. We're standing right on the edge of a moment that could completely change, well, everything, what it means to be human. And it really all boils down to one single, massive question. For the longest time, this was just stuff you'd see in the movies, right? Pure science fiction. But the timeline for this singularity, it hasn't just changed, it's been supercharged. What we thought was way off in the future is suddenly knocking on our door, and we have to figure out how to answer. And this is where things get kind of wild. Look at this acceleration. The famous futurist Ray Kurzweil, he pegged this for 2045. That felt comfortably far away, didn't it? But with the explosion we've seen in AI lately, experts are now saying, forget 2045. We could be talking before 2030. What was a whole generation away might now be just a few years from right now. That's insane.
So what happens when a change this big comes this fast? Well, the first thing it hits is work. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we make a living, and it's coming at a speed that makes past industrial revolutions look like they were moving in slow motion.
Get ready for this number. The World Economic Forum says 83 million jobs gone in the next 5 years. Now, hold on. They also say about 69 million new ones will pop up. So it's not a total wash, right? Well, not exactly. That simple math doesn't really capture what's going on.
And this slide right here shows you the problem perfectly. The jobs that are vanishing, they're the routine ones. Office work, customer service, things a machine can learn. But the new jobs, AI specialists, data analysts, these are highly technical roles. It's not like you can just swap an old job for a new one. We're looking at a huge, massive skills gap, and a lot of people could get left on the wrong side of it.
And look, this isn't just about a paycheck. It goes way deeper than that. The human cost is immense. Studies confirm what we all kind of feel in our gut, right? Losing your job isn't just a financial hit. It's a blow to your mental health, stress, depression, anxiety. It can mess with your self-esteem, your sense of purpose, your whole identity, really.
So here's the really scary part. This whole disruption could literally split society in two. A recent report from the MIT Technology Review put it bluntly. We're facing a future with the AI rich and the AI poor. You're either one of the people who owns and controls this new tech, or you're one of the people who gets replaced by it. That's a pretty stark warning.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty bleak, I know. When you're staring down at change this massive, it's easy to feel scared or want to fight it. But what if that's the wrong approach? What if the answer isn't to resist, but to completely flip the script on how we think about this?
Step one is pretty simple, but it's crucial. We have to stop seeing AI as the enemy. It's not something to fight against. It's a tool, probably the most powerful tool ever created, and we've got to learn how to use it. But just learning to use it isn't the whole game.
Because there's another level to this, a much more powerful move. Think about it. If the value of labor is going down, what's the most important thing to have? It's not just about getting a new skill. The real key is to go from being a worker to being an owner.
Let's call this the ownership shift. It's a mindset change. For centuries, most of us have operated by selling our time for money. This shift is about moving away from that and instead owning a piece of the actual systems, the technology that's going to be creating all the wealth in the future. It's about getting a slice of the pie, not just being paid to bake it.
So that brings us to the big question, right? The ownership shift sounds great, but how do you actually do it? How can you, as an individual, own a piece of this massive AI future?
Well, some of the smartest tech investors out there have a really great way of thinking about this. It's like the gold rush back in the 1800s. Sure, some miners struck it rich, but a lot of them went bust. You know who really made the fortunes that lasted? The people who sold the picks and shovels. The ones who built the railroads to get everyone out there. They owned the infrastructure, and that's where the real long-term value is.
And the picks and shovels of today's AI gold rush? They're the chips, the cloud systems, the AI models. And the companies building these new railroads are names you definitely know. These are the absolute giants laying down the essential tracks that this entire AI revolution is being built on.
Just how dominant are they? Well, take a look at this. It's pretty staggering. Just 5 companies, 5, make up more than half of the value of the entire global tech index. To put it simply, they pretty much are the market.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, the good news is, owning a piece of this transformation is actually way more accessible than you might think. You don't have to be a billionaire. You can invest in these key companies directly.
Or an even simpler way is to look at things like ETFs, exchange-traded funds that focus on AI and tech. They basically let you buy a small piece of all of them at once. The most important thing, though, is to see this for what it is, not just some hot trend, but a fundamental shift in the economy and a real chance to build long-term wealth.
So in the end, that's what it all comes down to. This AI era is forcing every single one of us to make a choice. And it's not just about what job you'll have, it's about your fundamental place in the economy of the future. So the question you have to ask yourself is this: will you be a worker whose value is at risk of being replaced? Or will you be an owner and own a piece of the very technology that's doing the replacing?